Have you ever felt like you're doing all the inner work, the journaling, the healing, the shadow work, inner child work, affirmations, yet something inside still feels off? Like you understand the patterns, but you cannot break them? Or you get the awareness, but not the embodiment? Like you're trapped in emotional loops you can fully step out of? If you ever thought, why do I still feel stuck? This episode is going to shift everything. Today, I'm walking you through my Align framework, the 5 phase system I created after years of working with myself, yes, and also with women who felt disconnected, unfulfilled, or out of alignment with themselves. By the end of the episode, you'll know exactly where you are in your healing journey and what your next step truly is. But before moving forward, here's our beautiful review of the week from Sud85. They don't have a name. That's what they gave me, Sud85. This podcast is a must if you want to address the root cause of your limiting beliefs, which are keeping you on the self doubt train. Michelle delivers practical steps and gentle guidance to help you through this amazing process. I want to thank you for this beautiful review and for your kind words. And friend, if this podcast supports you, please take 30 seconds to leave a review. It helps this work reach more women and more people who are ready to step into alignment. All right, beautiful soul, let's get started with the episode. If you're tired of feeling stuck, disconnected, or held back by old beliefs, and you're ready to start living in alignment with your deepest values, you're in the right place. Hi, I'm Michelle Marie, spiritual neurocoach, cancer survivor, and twin mompreneur. On Rewire to Align, I share the neuroscience and spiritual practices that help me transform my own life, guiding you to release limiting beliefs, rewire your mind, and step fully into your sovereignty. Are you ready to live in alignment with who you truly are? Let's rewire, align, and manifest. Before we dive in, I want to let you know this is another episode from the Rewire to Align Vault. Throughout July, I'm bringing back conversations that continue to be some of the most important teachings I've shared. Because the truth is, friend, alignment isn't about constantly consuming new information. Sometimes it's about hearing the right message at the right time. If you've never heard this episode, I think you're going to get a lot from it. And if you have, I invite you to notice what lands differently now. Welcome back, friend. Welcome to Rewire to Align. My name is Michelle Marie, and I am your favorite spiritual neurocoach. And every week, we are here to learn new ways to live a life in alignment using neuroscience, spirituality, energetics, and other beautiful tools that I love to share with you. How are you doing? How is fall treating you? It's almost the end of the year. Can you believe that? You know how it goes. October, Halloween, Christmas, New Year's. I don't know what is happening with Thanksgiving. Even in social media, they forget about it. And I love Thanksgiving. It's one of my favorite holidays. Actually, I had my Friendsgiving this past Saturday with some of my friends, the one that who are here, and you know who you are, and I love you so much. And I love Friendsgiving because it truly gives me the opportunity to meet with them, with my closest friends, and celebrate our friendship. And it's so important to nurture the people that you have in your life, the one that loves you, the one that are there for you every step of the way, right? And since we are in this gratitude season, let me ask you, what are you thankful for at this very moment? There is always to be thankful for. And even though this journey and even though this year has been really, really full of challenges for me and my family, I mean, cancer, hello, I am very thankful for them because it allowed me to truly focus more and more in my alignment journey and prioritize what moves me and my family towards greater growth and greater alignment. And, today I wanted to speak to you about that, about how to create a life that is in alignment to who you truly are, to your core values. And we're going to do it through my Align framework. And I didn't create the Align framework because it sounded pretty, friend. I created it because I needed it. I'm going to tell you a story because I love to start with a story. A few years ago, I hit a point where I felt like I was doing everything. I was journaling, I was doing somatic practices, manifestation, coaching, even therapy, everything, right? And even though things were working, but they were slowly moving, I still felt stuck and disconnected, like a little out of alignment with who I knew I was meant to be. And I didn't understand how I could know so much about healing and yet feel so far away from myself. And one day, after all this frustration and feeling, oh my God, because I didn't know how to get unstuck, I realized something. I didn't need more tools. I needed a system, a structure that brought my subconscious, my emotions, my nervous system, and my energetics into coherence. And friend, that moment was the birth of the aligned framework. And I remember constantly asking myself at some point, why do I keep repeating the same patterns? Why am I here again? Why do I react this way? Why do I know better, but do not do better or get caught up in things that I know I shouldn't be doing? Why do I feel disconnected even when I'm doing the work? I wasn't broken because obviously I'm not broken. Nobody's broken. I was just misaligned. And the moment I admitted that to myself, everything started to change because the moment I stopped forcing myself to heal or to fix myself and started understanding why I was stuck, my whole nervous system exhaled and everything started falling into place and in alignment. So let me get very practical here. I want you to understand why you are stuck or why the universe is not giving you what you truly want. And we're going to talk about the Align framework. And this is a system I guide my clients through to help them move from awareness into next level embodiment. Because here's what I've seen again and again, friend. Most women try to jump into being their future self, quote unquote, without understanding the sequence their nervous system and subconscious actually need to feel safe enough to change, right? You've been there. And the truth is, you cannot embody a new identity when your body is still living in old emotional patterns, all dysregulated. Think of it like this. Maybe you keep saying, I'm going to set better boundaries. But every time the moment comes, you freeze, you over explain, you shrink. Have you noticed that happen with your husband, with your kids, with your wife, with your friend, with your in laws, with your family? That's not a mindset problem. That's your nervous system stuck in an old phase, usually liberation or integration. And I will go through that later. And it's asking for regulation, not pressure. Once you know which phase you're in, the path forward becomes clear and change finally starts to feel possible. Now, I'm going to guide you through each phase of my framework so you understand how it works. And if something clicks for you today, if a phase feels like your phase, like that's where you are, I want you to know that you have support available, whether through the Align Framework Guide or inside my coaching container or the Facebook private community. You always have a place to heal and to grow and come back into alignment. So, this is the time you grab pen and paper or the time that you mark on your podcast or remember so you can come back because we're going to go through each step in the framework. And we're going to start with the letter A that stands for awareness. And awareness is the first phase of the alignment system. This is where everything starts. This is where you begin seeing your patterns clearly. You understand your triggers, your protective behaviors, the stories your subconscious repeats, and the emotional loops you've been living inside without realizing it. Example, you notice you shut down when you feel judged, and I have a friend that does this. He feels judged and then he shuts down. Have you ever been in that place? Another example, you say that you overextend yourself when you're afraid of losing love. Another example might be that you catch the moment you abandon yourself to avoid conflict. So awareness is saying, I am awake. I see myself now. This is where you start seeing your patterns clearly, your triggers, your emotional loops, your subconscious stories, right? And now that you know, you cannot not know. So you finally understand why you feel the way you do. Second step is liberation. And liberation is the emotional and energetic release phase where you finally let go of what your body has been holding. Remember that I have told you before that the body keeps a score. This is where you clear childhood wounds, stored anger, emotional compression, nervous system freeze, people pleasing, perfectionism. All those survival patterns your younger self learned to be safe, to be liked, to be accepted, to be loved. And on an energetic level, this is the moment that your body begins to unravel the knots your emotions have created over time. You know, those knots that stay with us and we don't feel the energy flowing. That's it. Because you know what? Unprocessed emotions like anger, sadness, fear, disappointment, they don't just disappear. It settles into the body. It creates tension, stagnation, heaviness. It disrupts your energetic flow. When emotional energy stays stuck, it shows up as tightness in your chest, constriction in your throat, knots in your stomach, back pain, jaw tension, migraines, a feeling of heaviness or shutdown in your aura. I know that we all have gone through that, friend. So I want you to be very aware of that. And it also affects your energy centers. Your chakras, which are your energy centers, they become unbalanced, and your aura, therefore, will shrink instead of expand, and your vibration obviously drops. So, what happens when you begin releasing, which is in this phase, you're not just letting go emotionally. Obviously, emotions are energy in motion, they need to be felt and released, but you're also freeing your energy. You're unblocking your chakras. Your aura expands, your nervous system softens, relaxes, your body unwinds. And what happens? Your whole entire system finally feels safe again. When you're in this stage, an example is that you finally feel anger instead of suppressing it. Because obviously, the old you will hold the anger, will put it under the rug, and it's going to suppress it. But when you are aware and when you want to go into liberation, you will feel the anger. The anger needs to be felt. And the anger is only a communicator. It's a protective part that was there because it wanted to keep you safe. So you can see the anger, you can feel the anger, you can communicate with the anger. The anger communicates with you and needs to be worked on, and then you release it. You also grieve the parts of you that were never supported. And also, your body releases tension that it has held for years. Liberation basically says, I release what was never mine to hold. This is where you release all those emotion, beliefs, and protective patterns your body has been carrying for a year. So you stop holding everything inside and start feeling lighter again. Integration. Integration, I love it. It's where you begin practicing your new way of being slowly, gently, daily. Yes, amiga, because without integrating, there is no sustainable result, right? If we want sustainable results, we have to integrate, we have to be consistent. So this is not perfection, this is repetition. This is where your subconscious start forming new emotional pathways. Your nervous system begins trusting the new reality that you are choosing. Integration basically says, I choose who I am becoming. And this is where you begin practicing new thoughts, new behaviors, and new emotional responses. And because the brain loves repetition, this is where neuroplasticity, do you remember neuroplasticity? This is where it really happens when you are consistent. So when the old version of you shows up, please, you don't shame her. You don't shame her. What you're going to do is that you're going to pause and you're going to acknowledge her and you're going to thank her for how she protected you, right? Because she was protecting you at some point, trying to keep you safe. And then you're going to gently remind her that you're choosing what aligns with you now at this point. what aligns with who you're becoming now. So life stops pulling you back into the old version of yourself. Integration is very, very important because you can do all the seminars, books. I mean, you can do everything, but if you don't integrate, nothing will move the needle. Before we go on, friend, I just want to say this. When I was moving through my own emotional loops and my healing journey, I remember I was wishing for someone to tell me what I was going to do, what to do next, right? I didn't have a guide. I didn't have a framework. I didn't have anybody. I had to piece it all together on my own. And this is why I created the Align Self-Discovery Guide and this Align framework, because I am like, oh my God, if I go through this, there's other people going through this. And I want everybody to please at least have something that they can refer to. So the Align Self-Discovery Guide is going to help you do that. It's the tool that I desperately needed back then, something to help you understand your phase and what your mind, body, and energy are actually asking for. If you feel that little pull in your chest right now as I'm saying this, please trust it. The link is going to be in the show notes for you so that you can purchase it. Okay, let's continue with the other steps in the Align framework. And we're going to the G, which is grounding and growth. And this phase anchors your transformation, and it has two purposes: grounding and growth. Okay, because your new identity must feel safe, friend. It must feel safe and supported inside your body. This is what people forget to do after they have the awareness and they let go and they want to receive, but they cannot hold anything because they forgot to ground and growth. So grounding and growth is very important if you want to keep growing and create sustainability in all the work that you did and create those desires, right? Bring them to life. If you want your manifestations to last, this is very important because grounding is anchoring your alignment through rituals, nervous system regulation. You're doing routines, you're doing your daily embodiment. And then growth, what is helping you with is building the emotional capacity, is building your self-worth and your energetic roots required to sustain your next level. Because, friend, evolution without grounding burns you out. And grounding without growth keeps you small. So this is that step that you are looking for new people, that shows your brain that is possible for you to grow into that new version of yourself. This is where you curate your life with every single thing that will expand your mind to reach that level that you want. This is where you practice nervous system regulation when you're anxious or you're triggered or you are, kind of reactive. This is grounding and growth. Example, you create rituals that regulate your nervous system. You build routines that support your alignment. You stretch your identity into bigger energy, slowly, steadily, without collapsing it back to old patterns. Then you find the expansion, those people, situations, places, opportunities, social media, books, everything. You start curating your life to find that expansion so that you can show your brain that is possible. That's how you grow. So grounding and growth says, my alignment is safe and I am expanding at a pace my body can hold. But there's a caveat. This is also where tests and triggers come. This is the step that tests and triggers naturally arise. It's not to punish you, but to help your new identity take root. And a trigger, friend, is simply something that activates an emotional pattern or an old wounding. Maybe somebody said something to you, you get triggered because it activates an old wound from when you were a child. And then a test is a moment that asks you to choose between your old self and your aligned self. And I see this in with my friends that are single people. Please listen, if you see that red flag of that person that looks great on paper, but it has that red flag, please, why are you moving forward? Why are you moving forward if you know it's not going anywhere? Why? First, that's basically telling the universe that you're not ready, that you are going to your old self. And second, please explore the wound of why you need that in your life. Okay. So, triggers and tests. Remember that. Because when you're growing, life will naturally give you moments that ask, are you choosing the old you? Or are you going to choose the aligned you? And these moments show up because your system is integrating transformation. And the moment you understand this, you're going to liberate yourself and you're going to say, oh my God, now I understand. And you can keep moving forward. And when these moments show up, grounding helps your body feels safe, and growth helps you respond from alignment instead of all conditioning. Okay, the last one, the N. And the N is next level embodiment. And this is where the identity work happens. This is a quantum shift. This is where you stop conceptualizing who you want to be and you start becoming her. And also where universal laws activates, especially the law of resonance and the law of assumption that you know because I have discussed them before, because now you are a vibrational match to the life that you desire. The law of resonance simply means your energy attracts what matches it. And the law of assumption, friend, means that the reality you consistently assume to be true, what happens? Becomes the one you live in. Example, you make decisions from self worth. You embody your future self. You choose aligned relationships. You attract opportunities without force because what happens is that you are the frequency of your desires. These are examples of being in the next level embodiment. And this is also where quantum leaping becomes available, not because you force something, but because your identity, your body, your energy, and your subconscious are finally congruent. They are aligned. Next level embodiment says, I don't try to become her. I am her. This is where you step into the identity, energy, and frequency of the woman you're becoming. So you stop wishing for change and you start living it. And here's what I want you to hear. If you've been feeling stuck, unfulfilled, out of alignment, it's not because you're doing anything wrong. It's because no one ever gave you a system that honors your emotions, your subconscious mind, your nervous system, and your energy. The aligned framework that was birthed from my heart and soul shows you where you are, where you're going, and what your next step is. And if this episode is hitting you in the chest, right? If you're like realizing exactly that you're like in an awareness or in liberation, and if you're tired of trying to figure it all out by yourself, I created something for you, the Align Framework Self-Discovery Guide. And this is the exact system I use my clients to help them discover subconscious blocks that are holding them back, the emotional patterns that are driving their reactions, the nervous system state keeping them stuck, the phase they're actually in, and the next step they need to move forward. And it's only $47. It's a beautiful digital download ebook that is intentionally priced so every single one of you who feels stuck can finally understand yourself. And if there is someone in your life who's on their own healing journey or alignment journey, this is a beautiful guide that you can give in this beautiful holiday season. Because the moment you know where you are, you immediately know what you need. And the moment you understand your patterns, you stop fighting yourself. You stop trying to fix yourself. You stop blaming yourself. You stop feeling like you fall behind. You finally begin to heal. So, friend, what I'm trying to say is that you can go to my shop in my website, michellemaripacheco.com/shop, and buy it. And the website platform includes every single payment available, Apple Pay, Google Pay, and all the credit cards through my WooCommerce purple button and the Klarna and all those Afterpay, all those payments. And it's very easy and it's very simple because it's a digital download that you can go ahead and print at your own pace and bound it and have it for you. Okay. Your homework for this week, my friend, is very simple. You're going to identify which phase of the Align framework you're in: awareness, liberation, integration, grounding, and growth, or next level embodiment. And if you're unsure or if you want more clarity, come back to this episode and listen to the phase that feels closest where you are so that you can keep moving forward. Beautiful soul, that's all I have for today. If this episode resonated with you, I want you to do me a favor. The best way you can thank me is by sharing this episode with your friends, your family, or anybody who needs to hear it. And whether you're listening on Apple Podcast, Spotify, or in YouTube, make sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. It is my wish that this information, this episode, serves and blesses you. Alignment isn't found outside of you, friend. It's reclaimed from within you. You are not stuck. You are simply in a phase, and now you know the way forward. I'm sending you love. I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I love creating it. If what you heard today resonated with you, the best way to support the show is by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts. Your feedback helps me continue creating content that empowers you and deepens your spiritual connection. Just scroll down to write a review and share your thoughts. And if you love what Rewire to Align is about, share it with your friends and family. I truly believe the world transforms when we come together to create positive change. I look forward to be with you again next week.